Mike Johnson, the House Speaker, took a bit of a verbal thumping from Steve Bannon, who you know is one of the premier podcasters in the country. So you have these two conservatives, very visible, very noted conservatives who seem to be having a little bit of clash, but most of the clash is on the side of Bannon, not on the side of Johnson. So what exactly happened here? Well, it seems that Johnson, being a fundamentalist Christian, understood that the Biden presidency was, in a sense, good for America, the same way that fire and brimstone was good for Sodom and Gomorrah. But I don't think that's what Bannon heard when he said that Biden was good for the country. I think he misinterpreted Johnson's opinion as being kind of a latent endorsement of Biden. But no, that's not at all what Johnson was saying. Now, you got to keep in mind that fundamentalist Christians have this concept that God raises up leaders for reasons. Sometimes the reason is to bless a society. Sometimes the reason is to correct a society or punish a society. And saying that God raised up Biden doesn't mean that God raised up Biden to bless America or to curse America. It just simply means for the betterment of America, ultimately. But taking his conservative credentials, that is to say, Johnson's conservative credentials, and his disdain for the woke policies of Joe Biden and his ilk, I think it's safe to assume that even without saying it, Mike Johnson's opinion that God raised up Joe Biden to corrupt America, to kind of punish America, to tell Americans, look, if you keep going this direction, this is just a little taste of what you're going to face in the future. I mean, it's not like fire and brimstone. It was more like just little matches that God was, okay, maybe it was fire and brimstone. I'm thinking about the border crisis. So anyhow, whether or not you believe in God, the fact of the matter is the Biden presidency has got our attention. And what is it telling us? It's telling us that if the wrong person is in control, or the persons who are pulling the strings of the person, if those people are in control, we're going to have the end of our country. Our country's going to collapse. And we see that on the southern border. I mean, we are literally being invaded. Now, I got to tell you, some of the people coming over the border are doing exactly the same thing I would do if I was in their position. If I could come willy-nilly into a country like America and all I had to do is scale a wall and drop down, and I would be here for, well, essentially the rest of my life because of all the red tape and the unnecessary litigancy that is out there, yeah, I'd be right there with them. It's good for them the way it's good for locusts to invade a wheat field. But it's not good for the farmer. It's not good for the wheat. It's not good for us. But Biden and his ilk understand that. In other words, Biden is destroying America. And I think what Johnson was saying, hey, God sent Biden to wake you up, America. He was a godsend. Not in the sense that he's doing something good for America immediately, but that he's doing something good for America ultimately by recalibrating our thinking, by bringing us back to our senses, to saying, hey, this is fire and brimstone falling upon us in the form of a little old man who has dementia. What could be worse? I mean, think about it. What could be worse for America? Hellfire and brimstone or Joe Biden? And if you stop and think about it, I can't really decide. I probably need a coin to flip and make a decision. Which one would do the worst damage to the country? Now, we all know that nobody's going to drop a nuclear bomb on the United States. At least I don't think so. I guess it's always possible, but it's highly unlikely that China or Russia or whoever else now has a nuclear arsenal is going to try to wipe us out. And I think the reason is they don't have to. We're wiping ourselves out. And I think what Johnson is saying is, hey, this is akin to not just fire and brimstone, but I think he's saying this is akin to a nuclear wipeout. It's just being done a little bit more subtly, and we don't have our guard up. And so what happened is that Biden's presidency or fake presidency was the wake-up call. And guess what? We're awake, and that's a good thing. I think that's what Johnson was saying. It is a good thing that America is awake because of Biden. Now, you may be saying, why didn't Johnson just say that? Well, probably if he knew he was going to get the reaction from Bannon and maybe some others, he definitely would have phrased it in that context. But I think it was probably more of an off. Well, I think this. I think he probably just assumed. You know what an assumed sale is, right? You've heard of that. I think this was just an assumed sale. He just figured, I'm guessing, I don't know, but he just figured people would understand what he's talking about. Now, sometimes we need jerks like Biden or Carter or Clinton, and I hate to say it, but even Ronald Reagan, who gave us, who erased President's Day and displaced that part of our culture with Martin Luther King Jr., whatever holiday, which basically boils down to we didn't get our mail this one day. I got to include him in that. Well, let's say if you were to build a Mount Rushmore of shame, who would you put on it? Only presidents allowed. Well, in my lifetime, Biden, Carter, Clinton would be there. But I'm thinking sometimes the most dangerous are the ones who are conservative, who side with the far left, with the woke left. And Reagan certainly did that. Now, he was probably better in most areas than any woke Democrat you could possibly think of, but he made some serious blunders. Martin Luther King Jr., a man who is known to be a philanderer, a man the FBI outed as having triced, they say, with prostitutes. I'm being careful what I'm saying because I know YouTube's algorithms, AI, are listening. And they don't like you trash-talking their demigods. And MLK is one of their demigods. But nonetheless, he does not deserve a holiday. And you say, well, that's racist. Well, you can say that if you want. I don't care, but I'm thinking there are many black people in America's history that deserve a holiday far more than Martin Luther King Jr. It's just that simple. And they didn't have to take away Washington's holiday, the celebration of his birthday. Because what they were doing is, in essence, and we're talking about Ronald Reagan here and the Republicans, what they were doing, in essence, is they were replacing the founder of our nation, Washington, with a new founder who they are assuming to be Martin Luther King Jr., or at least he has a preeminent position. So the United States got a wake-up call that convinced us, or should have convinced us, that we need to be cautious and careful from slagging off into a deep sleep of complacency, because the Democrats and the woke left are standing there, and they are ready and capable, if we let them, of destroying this country. And we know that because for the last 4 years, that's exactly what they've been doing. We have a president who took down the statue, or plans to take down the statue of William Penn in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That's insane. And just this week, we had a woke congressman, Democrat obviously, who proposed a bill in Congress to take down the Statue of Liberty because, in their way of thinking, it's somehow it justifies or celebrates racism. These people understand this. I mean, their minds are so twisted that they actually think this way. And as Americans, we need to say, well, we really ought to be grateful for Biden, not because of his policies, not because he thinks straight. I don't think he thinks. I think he would think if he thought he could think, but he can't think. But we need to be, I'm going to have to side with Johnson on this. We need to be grateful that we had somebody who set us straight, because we would have gotten lazy. We were getting lazy. And we would have gotten careless, and we were getting careless. But now we're reminded once again of the extreme danger the woke left can do. And so, all right, we needed a little hellfire and brimstone to rain down on us in the form of a little old decrepit man who can't think and it's woken us up. And so we're going to celebrate, I think, in a few months. I'm recording in, January 2024. We're going to celebrate in a few months the re-election, probably, of the guy that kicked out of office 4 years ago, nearly 4 years ago. If you got something out of this video, you want to join our family by subscribing. Brand new channel. I don't even know if this channel has any subscribers yet. You could be the first. Give this video a thumbs up. Start a conversation. Join the conversation in the comment section, and we'll join you all next time.